Swing by the Dodge dealership real quick and see what they got. 300, another 300, another 300, and a bunch of 5.7 Ts. That's a good sign. And welcome back to the channel, everybody. This impromptu video is spurred on because of an article that just got put up on DodgeGarage.com that is entitled "More Details on How Dodge Will Disclose 2023 Dealer Allocations." Yes, there has been a lot of confusion out there, and especially in my comment section, where some of you have said, well, I don't think some dealers are going to get no allocations, some will get some allocations, and there's this fear that their local dealership won't have any allocations and that we're all going to have to fly all over the country to get these cars. Well, it was a little ambiguous during Speed Week, the way he rolled it out, but I felt like I understood it pretty well, that we're going to still be able to order regular cars, meaning you want to order a GT, you want to order a Scat Pack, you want to order an RT, you can still do that. Hellcats, Red Eyes, Jailbreaks, you can still do that. But the special edition cars will be sent to specific dealerships, and those cars you have to buy from those dealerships. So you'll have to go to that dealership. So if there's none of these special cars, special edition cars in your marketplace, you may have to go to Texas, where there is the highest concentration of Dodge dealerships, and go get that car if that's where it is, and likely unload your bank account on that dealership to be able to get that car. So that's how those are going to work. But for the most part, everything is pretty much the way it's been, but the big change that they explained here in extreme detail was, and this is interesting, that, as he said, they're going to put this on DodgeGarage.com as a horsepower locator. And what you're going to be able to do is go in there and search your dealership and see how many allocations they have. And how this is going to be laid out is with absolute transparency, is what they're saying, which is really cool if they're going to be transparent like this. I just wish they'd be transparent about when orders are going to be open and they're going to start taking them, because this whole surprise is kind of like waiting for some new product to come out. None of us know when, where, how that's going to happen, and we're just waiting to take a day off work to go do it. But that'll be disclosed, I'm sure, soon. And I expect, like last year, it was around middle of November when they started taking orders. I'm hoping they do it earlier this year, and it would be wise of them to do that earlier this year, because then they could start production sooner and maybe meet the expectation, meet the demand. Now, with that said, they were clear in this article also that they can't predict unforeseen supply shortages. So there could be an issue that even though we all get our orders in for the 2023, yeah, maybe I'll put one in addition to getting my jailbreak if I pull the trigger on that thing, then you may still never see that thing if there is unforeseen supply shortages or things that happen. But nonetheless, got to get in early, and you're going to be able to go on to DodgeGarage.com to the horsepower locator and search these dealerships. And here's what's interesting. So each dealership's going to have a certain allocation. Now, I went ahead and did a little searching, and there was about 2,410 Dodge dealerships in America. So they're going to have to spread their allocations all across all of these Dodge dealerships. Now, some will get more, some will get less. I imagine it's based on past performance, and smaller dealerships will get less allocations. And these allocations will include all trim levels, meaning everything from a GT all the way up to a Red Eye. They're going to get those allocations. So, for example, if a dealership has, the example they use has 50 allocations, and for Hellcats, for example, 50 Hellcats that they can sell, they can order 3 to have standing inventory at their dealership lot, mark up the daylights out of it, and then do 2 orders, for example. Let's say the first week they roll these things out. And that would drop their allocations by 5. And if they had 50, now they just dropped to 45 total allocations left. You're going to be able to see on the horsepower locator that dealership now only has 45 allocations for Hellcats. You're also going to see that they have 26 for GTs and 15 for Scat Packs or whatever it is, and you can watch that they're saying it's going to be updated real time, regularly, and you're going to be able to go on there and see that, okay, these things are getting sucked up from your local dealership. Then there's going to be dealerships that maybe have an allocation for 100 Hellcats, and you see they got 100 Hellcat allocation, and then this little dealership has, 30 Hellcat allocation. I don't know how this is going to work. This could end up being a really good thing, and it's one hell of an experiment they're doing, and it's one huge undertaking that they're doing also, because just to keep these things updated, I think it sets us up for maybe some dishonesty. I don't know. Maybe some dealers are going to choose to put more standing inventory on their lot versus take orders just to save money and make a lot more on markups. Maybe others will charge markups on orders. Who knows? What I do know is for the first, let's say, 4 months, 5 months or so before they start shipping standing inventory cars to the dealerships, that they're all going to be taking orders. And I imagine there's a chance that some dealerships are going to be done instantaneously. So like we found out this last year, there are some dealerships who said that Hellcat orders were done. I heard this as well, and I thought that meant done everywhere. And it turns out that particular dealership just ran out of their allocations. So they had, let's say, 50 for the year, and they got up to July, and they sold their last one. And you saw dealers that were writing right up to their last few allocations that they started to kick markups in a little bit more. They started hoarding just a little bit more. They started wanting a bigger deposit a little bit more. So I would expect, and I could be completely wrong, that dealers with a large allocation, meaning dealers that aren't close to you maybe, would maybe be less likely to mark those things up because they're going to make money on volume versus trying to make money on just selling the few cars they can for as much money as they can. No question the special editions, because there's only so many of those preset, baked into the pie, that it's going to be that many cars, whether it's 500 cars or 300 cars, those are probably going to get marked up through the ceiling. But in this case, you're going to be able to see that a dealer has a ton of allocations. So if they're telling you, which they tell us all the time, well, this is probably the last one, you're not going to get yours, we're selling them like crazy. But if you look on DodgeGarage.com at the Horsepower Locator, and they've got 126 Hellcat allocations, and then you check a week later, and they have 120, and they've only sold 6, you can kind of gauge that might be the right dealership to go to. So I'm thinking this is actually, I think, a positive thing, where before I wasn't sure about that, where the dealers are putting the power of information in our hands. And maybe this is a play to say, look, we're tired of the markups. We're tired of you guys playing the games. So we're going to let the customer see where all the cars are. And they said in their article, straight up, I'm going to read it to you because they said it. And if you read just the undertones of this, I think it says it all. The Horsepower Locator will also help prospective customers check with multiple dealerships for pricing before ordering. So not only will the system help people order their Dodge muscle car, it will also help them find the best price on that new Challenger or Charger. I'm thinking this could be good for all of us. It will definitely create some chaos in the market. It may create some dishonesty out there. I don't know. Will dealers try to manipulate the system? Will they be able to manipulate the system? Will there be a lag in when they report to Dodge on these orders? If they got to put the orders in, that might be hard to do. I don't know. Will they all start just ordering themselves for standing inventory on their dealership because that's a lot easier to control and just roll the dice that they're going to be able to sell them all? That is the only concern. And if I was a smaller dealership, that's probably what I would do. If I was a shady car dealership that just wanted to mark the daylights out of my cars, I don't know if I'd be taking a bunch of orders. I think I would run my allocation out real quick and just be the first one to be delivering cars on the lot with huge markups. I got to imagine that might happen because they weren't clear about whether dealers can just, if they have 50 Hellcats, just order 50 Hellcats and then let them start trickling into the dealership as they're built. Or can they do half of them, customer-specific orders, built the way they want them, and then half standing inventory? I don't know. I don't know how that's all going to flesh out, but I think for sure we're going to be able to see where these cars are at, who has a massive allocation, and go to that dealership. The other thing that I've experienced, which just concerns me a little bit, is that I may be trapped at this point in California, because ordering a car from another state, it might be okay because they can check the box for the 50 state legal car. But as you've seen, if you watch my channel a while, these cars that are out there being sold in other states that are 49 state only cars can't be sold in California until you jump through a bunch of hoops to get them to be able to be sold here. So if you're searching for standing inventory or even making an order, you got to make sure, if you're going to a dealership in Texas and you live in California, to make absolutely sure that they check that box and get the 50 state car, or you will end up with a 49 state car and you will not be able to take that thing to California. This is really important with all the craziness that's going to be taking place. I would bet anything. I mean, think about this. In Texas alone, there is 185 Dodge dealerships. In New York, there's 122. Pennsylvania, 122. That means 25% of the dealerships in America, or maybe 20% of them, are located in 4 states. Now, they're probably going to have, I would imagine, smaller allocations as they spread them out amongst all those dealerships. Then maybe it's depending on the size of the dealership. So we're going to be searching for cars, not just where we live, but all over the country, and maybe we might be flying around to pick up these cars to get the better deals. But just make sure the car is specifically made for the state and the emission standards where you live, and that pretty much applies to California. I don't think it does for anywhere else. So if you live in California, be very careful. And that's how they're going to do it, folks. So how this is all going to turn out, I can't wait to see it. I think there's so much content we're going to be able to see. I do want to jump into this and play the game when it starts, because I mean, this is really going to be the first time this is ever done. I got to imagine the dealerships have to absolutely hate this. And for that reason, I think I love this, because it's putting at least some little bit more information in the consumer's hands and all of our hands to be able to make a decision that we're going to go to a dealership that has an allocation, that doesn't charge markups, and leave these other guys sitting there maybe stuck without people ordering cars from them. And next time a dealer says, well, the banks are closed, or they're going to be closing soon, or there's only a few more orders you can put in, they're only talking about their dealership. You're going to be able to go see that, well, there's one around the corner. It's got 22 Hellcats I can go get and 15 Scat Packs. I'm going to walk in there. When you walk into that dealership, you can say, hey, look, I noticed you have 26 Scat Pack allocations. I'd like to put an order in. And what are they going to say? Well, no, it's really hard because these are really scarce. You have 26 of these things. You have 35 Hellcats. You have 25 RTs. If it says you only have 2, I probably wouldn't walk into that dealership, because they're probably going to be wanting to squeeze you on those cars. So this is empowering, I believe. You know, I'll have more on this as things develop, but I just thought this would make a good video to share with you all what they put up there, my basic thoughts on this as well, that there may be some opportunity here. Also, I got to share this too. I was going to make a separate video, but Mopar Insiders posted a article about Brampton shutting down for the next month for whatever reason, supply issues or whatever it was. Somebody put inventory and all kinds of stuff. I don't even know if that's true or not. If it is, that's a challenge also. They say it's not going to slow down production, but it could slow down them opening up the ordering banks if it's true. I don't even know if it's true. At this point, there's so much erroneous information on the internet that I'm just trying to filter it. But this is straight from Dodge's mouth. This is how they're going to handle allocations, and I think it's going to be good for us. I think we're going to have some power. I think we can be strategic, and I'm going to be shooting tons of videos through this thing, helping you all find where these cars are too, and I'm going to help you try to save some money and avoid paying markups any way that I possibly can. So with that, everybody, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe. Bye-bye. Check this out. Dinosaurs. Not hurt. Check out the dinosaurs.